Do you ever daydream about the idea of traveling long term, working remotely? Maybe you are just getting started and thinking about how you could work for yourself or freelance and pay for traveling as you go. Or maybe you already are some sort of a freelancer person who owns your own whatever, and you're thinking about actually moving that on the road and what that could possibly look like. Maybe you're thinking about the idea of using the flexibility of that to try out the digital nomad fantasies that you see on Instagram and all over TikTok, right? Like it sounds super glamorous and mysterious and sort of out of reach of most people. Well, I did that. I backpacked and freelanced across 5 continents for about 5 years, and it's one of my favorite things to talk about. I love helping people who are just thinking about the idea of traveling and how it could fit into their life in a way that actually feels like sane and feasible and not like some other fancy person, but something that they could actually do. I love helping them think through what it could actually look like and how do you press the button and decide to really go for it. And maybe it doesn't look the same for everyone. In fact, I would argue that it looks pretty different depending on who you are and what you want out of it. Real quick, if you're new here, I'm Janelle. I've been a freelance graphic designer for 15 years, and I have made every possible mistake along the process. And I want to help other creatives get there a little bit faster and with a little bit less heartburn. So let's dive in. Okay, so you're floating this idea of traveling and working and trying to think about how it could actually work for your real, actual life, right? The first thing I would say is you need to think about what the whys are for what you want to do before you start looking at plane tickets. Before you go down too many more rabbit holes, spend some time thinking about what you actually want out of this time. Because it's not actually obvious and it can look really different for different people. And that answer is going to help dictate where you go. This is very much a choose your own adventure kind of a rabbit hole you're diving down, which is awesome. First off, if what you're thinking about is the idea of solo travel for a while, working off of an existing budget, like a short or long-term trip, that's kind of a different thing than what I'm talking about right now. I actually have a whole other channel that is a lifestyle channel where we love talking about travel obsessively. We talk about packing and ideas and how to research for trips and how to plan and how to get good flights and all kinds of travel related things. So please hop on over there and let's hang out if you just want to nerd out about travel. It's one of my favorite things to do. For today, I'm assuming that you're thinking about longer term or open-ended travel where you would need to keep working and bringing in some form of income as you're on the road in order to sustain it, which is kind of how I'm defining the idea of this digital nomad thing, right? Working and traveling as a lifestyle for a couple of months or a couple of years or whatever that looks like for you. So first, you kind of need to ask yourself, what kind of travel do you really want to do? What's compelling to you? Is this a few months of exploration while you're in between one season and another before you kind of get back and do something else? Or is this something you're thinking about for a year plus and you want to make it more of a long-term lifestyle? Do you really want to dive into traveling and working from the road? Or is it really that you want to see a lot of things and you want to get as far as you can, as cheaply as you can? Those are all totally valid trips, but they're kind of different trips. And knowing that helps pave the way and point the direction for all of your planning and what you're looking at next. The other thing is, where do you actually want to go? Is there a specific country or region or area of the world that you really want to spend some time in? Maybe you want to visit friends or family or the country of origin of some of your ethnic heritage that you want to connect with. That's a really cool reason to plan a trip. Maybe you really want to dive in to a particular city and think about what it would be like to live there for a few months. That's awesome. Or you could just want to cover as much ground as possible and see as much of the world you can as cheaply as you can. It's kind of the camp that I fell into. But all of those things are totally valid reasons to travel. They're just really different trips. And the more clear you are about the areas that you want to be in and the things you want to see, the more you can literally start plotting on the map, and it's going to fill in a lot of gaps for you. The other variable is how quickly do you want to move? Maybe you want to stay in one place or stay in a few places. The famous Eat, Pray, Love example comes to mind where Elizabeth Gilbert picked 3 cities she really wanted to live in and she was there for 3 months each. That's an awesome way to do a year. But you could also hop around faster if the goal is that you want to see a lot. Those are really different things. The other main consideration that needs to happen when you're thinking about working and traveling is the working part. What does work need to look like for you? Do you already have kind of freelance clients and a set of things that are set up that you can kind of pick up from where you are and take it on the road without changing a whole lot? Or do you need to kind of start from scratch and start thinking about more steady forms of income that you can count on as you go, or do bursts of things as you're traveling? What does that need to look like for you? Maybe you have some form of a job that lets you work remotely. And if so, that's going to dictate how you structure your travel. Maybe you need to have an apartment somewhere and have more regular working hours, or travel in a few different spots that you can be in a co-working community or connect with other people that are also remote working. That's cool. There's a lot of ways that you can go about it, but how you need to work will structure your sequence and how quickly you move and what you need to look for in different places. And that's going to look really different depending on the work situation that you have. So those are the three main questions that I feel like you have to start with. What kind of a trip really speaks to you? Where do you want to be? And where are the places that you want to make sure that you make a part of your trip? And what does work need to look like on the road? From there, we can kind of make any trip happen. The world's your oyster, literally, if you like oysters. As I started thinking about this more, I realized that not only are these trips really different, but my advice is actually really different for each of those people that are on those different trips. So to keep it straight, I'm actually going to name them so we can keep track. So go with me on a journey here. Okay, so first we have someone I'm naming Max. Max has always had a few places in mind that he really wants to see. Maybe he's dreamed about living in a certain city and he kind of wants to try it out a little bit to get his feet wet and see if he would actually be a full-time expat and live there full-time. He wants to learn a language. He wants to be somewhere long enough that he can meet people and have a bit of a community, or at least live out that fantasy of like walking down the street from your apartment, seeing the guy at your coffee shop and waving hello, right? That moment. And that's the kind of trip that Max wants to have. Then there's Stella. Stella wants to see the world. She wants to see as much of it for as long as possible, as cheaply as possible. She just wants to get out there and explore. She wants to meet cool people. She wants to travel around, have a bunch of cool experiences. And she's using freelancing as a way of doing that. But really for her, it's about exploring and traveling in this stage of her life. And then there's Reagan. Reagan really wants an experience. They've built up their business for a while, and they really want to experience the idea of taking that on the road and what it would look like as a digital nomad. They want to be in different places, but for them, it's really about the balance between building up this business that they care about and experiencing the world and seeing different places. They also really want to connect to a larger creative community in some way. They want to be a part of a larger group of people who are also juggling how do you live and experience the world? How do you work and travel? How do you have this experience in your life? They want to be part of that larger creative community in some way, and they have no idea how to do it. So obviously, those are three really different people, and they're going to be really different trips. So here's my advice. So for Max, my advice would be start with the where. Where are the places that are really speaking to you that you want to make sure you really spend time in? Where are their visa requirements? That's really going to define a lot of your timeline and how long you can be there and what that needs to look like. Assuming that you're on a tourist visa because you're still getting paid in the United States and you're not working there, that's going to dictate a lot of what your travel is going to be. So I would start there. And then I would think about housing. For Max, a longer term solution like apartment rentals on Airbnb or VRBO is probably the natural place to start because you can actually be in a place for longer. I've done whole stints where I've rented an apartment for 3 weeks or for 6 weeks and been somewhere where I knew, okay, I'm going to work on a project for a while and I'm going to settle in and I'm going to get a bit of a sense. I'm going to meet people in the community. I'm going to have my favorite restaurants and kind of play with what it feels like to live in this city. And I think that's a good starting point for Max. But there are also some creative housing options that you might want to consider. Have you ever heard of woofing? That's where you travel around and volunteer at different places in exchange for room and board. You can do that and also freelance or spend some time volunteering and then work for a while. You could make that schedule work. There's also some really cool networks for house sitting. If you know an area that you really want to be in, plan ahead. Maybe you can find a way to house sit for someone, and then you're able to freelance and know that you're somewhere more stable, your Wi-Fi is probably pretty good, and your cost of living is a little bit reduced. So you have a little bit more freedom for what that could look like for you. Could be a really good option. Maybe you know that you want to work on languages as part of this process. Look about language schools, because you can also have off time while you're doing that you can continue working. So you could balance learning a language, living somewhere for a while you're learning it, and continue working. There are some really cool ways of being somewhere in one place for longer that could stretch your dollar a little bit more and make you be able to expand your horizons of what that looks like. So that would be my advice for Max. For Stella, my advice would be to start with the what. When all you know is that you want to get out and see the world as much as you possibly can, that's a really overwhelming place to start. Believe me, I know. So start with what you really want to see. Start with your must-sees, the monuments and the sites and the museums and the wonders that you really want to see. Even if your trip is open-ended, it's worth assuming that you're probably not going to see everything on your dream list. So start with the things that are must-sees that you really want to make happen, and then map them out and start thinking about how those could link together and make kind of a natural route. It's a heck of a lot cheaper to get to Australia from Bali than it is from the United States. So it makes sense to kind of string those things together. Once you start thinking about the things you definitely want to see, you can kind of start piecing together what a route might look like. And it's a really good jumping off point. And then you might want to think about the places where you can stretch your dollar a little bit longer. You can live in Cambodia really beautifully for about $30 a day. I can show you how. And honestly, I think it's encouraging to think about places that you know that you can spend more time in and not be so stressed financially that you're not able to really enjoy them. That doesn't mean that you can't ever go to Europe. Believe me, you absolutely can. But it's worth thinking about how you can punctuate your trip with areas that you can travel in a little bit longer between project deadlines. And places like Southeast Asia or Central America are great places to start. Honestly, the hardest part about this kind of a trip is just figuring out how to balance work responsibilities with what you really want to do, which is travel and experience and see things. And if you're moving around a lot, it can be hard to make time to actually get projects done. Sometimes you are in hostels and you think the Wi-Fi is going to be great and it's actually not. And it takes you 6 hours to send a file, hypothetically speaking. And that can be a real thing, especially when you're meeting cool people and you're in public spaces. It can be hard to find space to actually work. Or you're meeting people and you want to go out and they're inviting you to go to dinner and we're planning on getting work done. Like those are genuine things that you have to kind of balance. One way that you can do that is by kind of following a bit of a waltz structure. You do like a quick, slow. So you plan on making ground for 2 or 3 weeks and seeing a bunch, and maybe you're hopping from city to city every 2 or 3 days and you're really covering a lot of ground. And then you pick a spot that you know you're going to like and you hang out there for a week or 2 weeks. And you kind of time and group your deadlines so that if you have to do, Zoom calls with someone, you stack them at times when you know you're going to have a quiet space and you're going to have better internet. Or, you bundle your deadlines so that you can kind of get a lot of work done. You do that for a little bit and then you get back on the road. So there's a lot of ways to make this work, but you do need to factor if you want to just experience and go and connect and do cool things, that you also have to balance the work thing too. You can also structure your days so okay, on this day, I'm going to find a co-working place in the city that I'm in and get some work done so I can count on the fact that there's going to be reliable internet and a quiet space that I can take a call, and then I'm going to go back and meet all my cool new friends for dinner and I'm going to have a great time. Or, okay, I'm in a hostel, but every 5 days I'm going to spring for a private room so I can get some work done. So there's ways to get around this, but no matter what, you're going to need to think about how you're going to balance both of those things while you're on the road. For Reagan, my advice would be start with the who. If what you know is that you want to connect with this sort of larger digital nomad community and you want to figure out how you can really grow and evolve your business while you're traveling, that's an awesome goal. And there's some really cool resources that will help you do that. There's some really cool communities around social media. There are Instagram groups and Facebook groups for people who are traveling and working that are great resources, and also do cool meetups and other people that you could travel with or that you could meet up with in different places. Those are great places to start. Also just areas of the world that are natural kind of hubs and havens for other people doing remote work. And it's not a bad idea to start there. Maybe you want to center around a place like Bali or Tulum, or places where there really are hubs and there's a lot of good resourcing and co-working spaces and cool live work spaces that you can stay in for a while, like kind of digital nomad hotels, essentially. And there are areas of the world, all around the world, that are designed for working creatives to travel. And that can be a good place to start. The other thing to think about is that you don't have to go it alone. In this kind of travel, one of the things you might run into the most is just the logistics of needing to plan things out if you do want to travel and go to multiple places. You want to be focused on where you are, on the work that you're doing, and actually needing to plan the logistics of how you're getting somewhere and where you're staying can be the thing that starts to feel a bit like a grind. There are actually some really cool organizations whose whole model is taking groups of freelancers or remote workers and taking them around for a year or for a few months and doing like location hopping 1 month at a time. You travel with the same group of people that are going from place to place, but you're focusing on co-working and getting work done, but also having these more kind of curated experiences where they're taking a lot of the heavy lifting of the logistics for you so that you can just be in different places. That can look a couple of different ways, but there's some cool resources out there if that interests you. Another approach would be that you want to be in a place for a little while, get an apartment, get some work done, and then go travel. And maybe in the same way that you don't want to do all of the legwork and logistics, maybe you get your work done, you build up a little bank of money, and then you take the next 3 weeks and you join a cool indie travel group that's doing an interesting trip somewhere. All of those trips that are planned are excluding the airfare. So if you're already near the place where the trip is going to take place, that's a significantly cheaper trip. And there are some really cool indie travel companies that are designed for small groups of people in their 20s and 30s that want to go travel. And they take a lot of the planning out. So you could really say, okay, for this month, I'm going to get my work done. I'm going to hang out in this place and build it up. And then I'm going to go explore and go on a safari for 3 weeks and travel around 6 countries in Africa. Like, that's an option. That's really cool. And that could be a neat way of structuring a trip in a way that feels a little bit more sustainable and takes some of the guesswork out of the logistics of the process. For Reagan, my biggest advice would be really think about what kinds of experiences would make this trip worthwhile, so it doesn't just feel like you're trading one office for the other and you're still doing all of the same heavy lift of freelancing and work and obligations with a slightly better view. Sometimes it can feel like you're just looking at the place instead of actually experiencing it because you're worried about making sure that you're still working on your business and doing good work. And those are real things to think about. So think about what experiences would make this feel really magical and unique to you, and then build from there. If there's one thing you take from this, I hope that it's that this could actually look a lot of different ways, and it could actually fit your life. You could do this. This is really a thing that you could do. If you have any thoughts or questions or more ideas about what this could look like, I'd love to hear them. This is a conversation I will have forever. And I'd love to hear if you have any experiences on your own of what work and travel has looked like for you. Drop it down. Let's chat about it. Onward, and look forward to seeing you next time. Because as I start, Toby, no, sir. No, sir. No. Okay? Calm. Thank you. Good boy. Good boy.